There are several different filtration and media types within the machine tool industry. These can be found in various different places as far as suction side of pumps, pressure or discharge side, return filtration, and they can filter different fluids, whether it's oil, water, coolant, many different things. There are a couple of different common things you should be aware of when looking at filtration. So a lot of filters are measured or valued by micron. And those micron ranges typically can go anywhere from 3 to 50. Another common way that filtration is measured is by the mesh, or the mesh count per square inch. And those can range anywhere from 60 to 300 typically. Now, when measuring in microns, the lower the value, the higher the filtration rate. Where mesh is the opposite. The lower value is less filtration compared to a higher number would mean it's taking out smaller particles. Some of these items are used specifically in certain applications or in certain places. For example, this one here, commonly referred to as a suction strainer. A lot of your hydraulic systems or hydraulic power units will have this type of filter. If you're having issues with your pump, building pressure, or has just stopped working, it's always a good idea to check to see if there is a suction strainer that exists and its condition. A lot of these are wire mesh. They can be cleaned, but they can also be replaced if necessary. There's typically an indication right here on the end of the filter or stamped somewhere where you're going to find its filtration value or its rating. In this particular case, this is 150W, which means 150 mesh. That's a very common size for your typical viscosities between 32 and 68 weight oil. This particular canister filter, this is a spin-on filter, oil filter, much like you find in the automotive industry and several other industries, where this is not a high pressure filter. This is typically something in your return line or circling in a filtration loop. Your pressure ratings are typically no more than 200 to 250 psi, and these are typically rated by the micron. So a lot of these will have indicators that are on the top of the filter head, which would be up here, that tell us when this is plugged or when there's been a loss of flow or a buildup of pressure through this filter. Can be visual indication or it can be electronic indication. This particular filter is your typical 10 micron screw-on filter, and something like this, regardless of installation being used in a hydraulic system, you would be replacing in 6-month or 12-month increments for your typical conditions. This one on the end is a cartridge type filter. And this would be, you'd find typically in a housing, normally on your high pressure side, so your output side of a pump. These can achieve 1,000, 3,000 psi, depending on its makeup or condition. Also, usually if you're replacing or taking these out and you're not sure, when you look and you can verify the end, you'll see that it's stamped with its filter value. This one happens to have a 10U, which indicates micron, so this is also a 10 micron filter, much like this one, but different applications. High pressure side, low pressure return side. The last filter I have here has similar characteristics to a couple of the others, where this can be found on a low pressure system. The differences are, as you can possibly see, are the types of filtration or the media that's used. You can see cellulose or paper. You'll also see wire mesh, or stainless steel wire mesh. Those materials and medias vary based on the type of fluid you are filtering typically. Some have longer lifespans or are more durable for certain fluid types. This filter here does not give an indication of its micron level or part number or anything else. It has a manufacturing number, but that's not of much use. Typically, when specifying this element, you will find the information necessary on the filter body or filter housing specific to this filter. So there are many types and sizes of filters used throughout the industry and in different applications. But if you're having trouble figuring out what you have or needing help finding a part number, you can reach out to All World Machinery and our customer service team.